Morning, everyone. Hope doing well. And here I'm back with the chapter everyone tries on O level. And let's start this chapter once again from where we have left it. And before that, a quick recall that Yvonne is the prisoner, that is James Roderick Evans, and he plans to give or he desires to give a German O level examination from the prison itself, and then the examination was arranged with a lot of security measures, keeping an eye on him because Ivan was one such prisoner who had already escaped thrice from the jail, so they don't want to take any kind of risk this time. And even one of the senior prison officer Jackson, along with the new recruit Stephen, checks his cell thoroughly where the examination was supposed to be conducted, and then a parson or a priest or a minister was arranged for the invigilation purpose from the nearby church. His name was Reverend S. McClary, and then the exam was supposed to start. Before that, a thorough check of the cell was already done, and that of McClary was also done because the governor, he had certain nagging doubts within him regarding maybe by mistake he might have brought something inside which Evans can use and can use him as a hostage and move out of the prison, etc., etc. A lot of things were there. And at one particular place, in the previous videos I have told you that when Reverend McClary came out from the house, he was having a brown colored suitcase in his hand, which was having around some 6 items. But when the checking was done in the jail, around some 7 items came out from that, which is like a glitch in the entire story. And still, it was like the Jackson and on overlooked because McClary said that he's suffering from piles, and because of that reason he has to use that rubber ring which is semi-inflated for the long sittings and all. And then the examination started with the formalities like writing down, filling up the various information places which was there in the answer sheet. And the examination got little held back, not didn't start in the scheduled time. And when the examination had started at that time, after 15 minutes or quarter past that, there was a phone from the assistant secretary of the examination board saying that a correction slip was supposed to be put along with the question paper, which got left out, and because of that reason the correction had to be done. And then Jackson was called and the correction slip was given to the invigilator, and governor had been listening to the conversation going on in the cell, where when he heard the correction he believed it because it was really right, means a correct thing being done, because the governor himself, he had taken German in his sixth form, so he knew something about it. And then the examination continued with Stephen standing outside and were looking through the peephole every minute, keeping an eye on Evans. And Ivan was in a still position with the pen in between his teeth, and waiting for some miracle to happen to get the answers for the questions. And the invigilator was sitting down with his back towards the door, in a little active manner, in a manner in which his only semi-profile face could be seen. And then after that, we have seen that at one particular moment Ivan took permission from the invigilator to wrap himself with a blanket, because it was slight cold over that side, which created a little kind of a thoughts in Stephen's mind when he peeped inside and saw him wrapped up in the blanket. But then it just passed off when he realized that there was no sunlight in that area, so most probably it might be chilly inside. And then around some 11:20 we have seen that the governor bends forward to pick up the phone, and at 11:22 Jackson gives a call to Stephen that governor wants to talk to him. And when Stephen comes, governor orders him to escort McClary to the gate, main gate. Means Stephen must escort him to the main gate, and before that, he should see that the door is closed nicely. And then around some 11:25, the examination got over, and then the opening of the door could be heard, and maybe McClary came out, and then he started moving along with Stephen to the main outer door. And while they were going, Stephen felt that McClary seemed to be a little more slimmer than how when he entered the jail, and even his accent means Scottish accent seemed to be a little more proper and much more better than what he was talking in the beginning. And after all those things, he just asked him whether there is any chance of he wants to pass. Clearly said that very negligible chance is there. And then when he came back, he thought of going straight away to the canteen to have a cup of coffee. But before that, he just felt like peeping in and seeing, checking on Yvonne. And when he did so, he was totally shocked because he could see someone sitting down on Yvonne's chair, means from the people, with the, before opening the door, and that person was having the blanket over his shoulder, which was just slipping off. And when he looked, he found that there was blood coming out from the head, and it was just falling over the collar and the clerical coat, everything. And then he gave a shout and called Jackson, and he opened the door and went inside. And when he went inside, meanwhile, the minister, means the priest who was hurt badly, he took out a handkerchief, white handkerchief from his pocket, and he kept it on top of his head to stop the bleeding. And at that time, Jackson also arrived over there, and he asked Stephen to go and get to ring the police and the ambulance. And meanwhile, the handkerchief has become very scrunchy and sticky type with the blood. And then McClary, a very dedicated man, he said that please don't worry about the ambulance and all. I know where that man has gone, and I want to meet the governor. And then he picked up the question paper which was lying down over there of the examination, and Jackson and Stephen, they gave him a support from both the side, and they started taking him, giving him support, started moving towards the governor. Meanwhile, the entire prison was shrieking out, siren noise, phone noise, prison officers shouting, and all those things was going on. At that time, governor came in front of McClary, injured McClary, and then he was totally shocked that what has happened. And then McClary said that he asked Jackson to send him to the hospital, but he said that first you see this, I'm telling you what. And then he showed the question paper to the governor, and the governor found that at the last two pages, between the pages, one photocopied paper was there between the last two empty pages of the question paper. And then he started reading it, and not that his German was very good long time back, but still he translated. And it said that the Ivan has to go according to the plan. The last few minutes is very important, especially 3 minutes. And then something was written which he could not read, so that's why it was said something 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 something. And then it was also written over there that don't hit the person very hard, because he's a minister, he's a father, he's a priest. And also not to overdo your Scott accent. So that means that the person who has gone out, the invigilator who went out with Stephen, who could it be? Yeah, it could be Evans, and he has left behind the injured McClary, who came for the invigilation purpose. And then meanwhile, there one car approached over there, and from that the detective Carter jumped out, and he was totally shocked to see what was going on over there. And he asked governor, but before governor could reply, McClary, he said that Ivan has ran away to the Elsfield way, and I know where he had gone. So the governor said that, see, if you don't mind and you feel that it is all right, you kindly take McClary, and he is the only one who knows everything. And you please take him along with you. So Carter said that okay, and then he opened the door and door of the car, and he made McClary sit down in that, and then they sped away from there. Means they just moved from there, and McClary had said Elsfield Way. So he picked up that question paper and he saw that in that it is written Elsfield Way. From there you take a Headington roundabout, means go round about it. And he started thinking how he might have got that slip, and then it struck him. Oh, Elsfield Way, that is where the board center is, and the correction slip also came from there only. So it means that somebody from the board is involved in this escape plan. And then the governor, he turned to Jackson and Stephen and he said that now I don't have to tell you that what had happened, but just let me know that who is that idiot, the moron, who has taken Evans for a nice little walk, because now it is understood that McClary, the invigilator who came, is badly injured by Evans, and then Evan ran away outside with us impersonating as that McClary, whom Stephen himself went and said bye-bye to him at the outer door. So he asked, who is that idiot who has done this, who that moron out of you two who has taken Evan for a nice walk? Stephen said, sir, it's me. But I did what you said. Governor said what I said. And when I said. Then Stephen said that, why you only called and you said. Then Governor thought, I called. Then he thought, yes, he picked up the receiver. You remember the time? 11:20 he picked up the receiver. 11:22 Jackson called Stephen saying that Governor. Yeah. So it was not the governor. Whoever it was, but it was not the governor. And then the governor, he got angry and he got even more angry at Jackson, and he said that you are totally empty head, no brain you got. 2 hours you had spent in that cell of Evans, stating that, reporting that there is nothing which could be used as a weapon. You remember, nail, scissors, razor, everything was removed from his cell. Then how come he managed to have all those things like beard, spectacles, then on top of that something very dangerous with which he had hit McClary so hard that he was bleeding like anything? No answer to all these questions, I hope so. At least not now. So let's continue with it. A prison van backed alongside, but the governor made no immediate move. He looked down again at the last line of the German. To the Headington roundabout, where you go straight over and make your way to New Graben. New Graben? Where on earth? New something, New Grave? Never heard of it. There was a war grave somewhere near Reading, but no, it was probably a code word. And then it hit him. Newbury. God, yes, Newbury was a pretty big sort of place, but now one thing was understood: the call was not of governor. The correction slip was a part of the escape plan, and the person who had gone out as McClary was Evans. This much is understood by everyone. Okay, and then governor tried. By this time, the one prison van was moving back, but governor paid no attention. He was so totally tensed, and he was just looking at the German slip, and he started reading it. In that, it was given Elsfield, from there Headington roundabout, and then make your way to New Graben. Then he started thinking, New Graben? Where is this New Graben? There is no such place as New Graben. Then he said that what it is, new. New means something. N-E-U, new is N-E-W, new. Something new. Okay. So he started thinking, New Grave. Is it some place named as New Grave? But then he thought, no, there is War Grave, but no New Grave. Then it struck him. New Graven means new bury. Bury means grave. Bodies are buried in grave. So, new bury. What a coded language, my goodness. So, he said that, oh, so from Elsfield to the Headington roundabout and move towards Newbury. It's quite a big place where he can easily hide out. Then further, he rapped out his orders to the driver, St. Aldate's police station, and step on it. Take Jackson and Stephens here. And when you get there, ask for Bell, Chief Inspector Bell. Got that? Now, the prison man, which has backed out, he rapped out his orders, means like commanding the orders out of anger, loud shout, etc. That is, and he asked the driver to go to one police station. The name of the police station is St. Aldate's police station, and take Jackson and Stephen. And as soon as you reach over there, the inspector in charge, Mr. Bell, asked him to talk. Okay. Then he leaped the stairs to his office three at a time, got Bell on the phone immediately, and put the facts before him. After this, like when you are in hurry pari, you do now just missing off one step and just climbing up and going. That same thing he did, and he reached his office and he picked up the phone and he gave a call to Bell. And told him everything, that what has happened, how Ivan has escaped, and all those things he told him. And then what Mr. Bell said, "We will get him, sir." Said, "We will get him with a bit of luck. Definitely, if we are lucky, we are going to catch him up at Newbury." That is what Mr. Bell he convinced to the governor. Okay, the governor sat back and lit a cigarette. Yeah, goods. What a beautifully laid plan it had all been. What a clever fellow he once was. Careless leaving that question paper behind. But then they all made their mistakes somewhere along the line. Well, almost all of them, and that's why very, very shortly, Mr. Clever Evans would be back inside doing his once more. After sending Carter with McClary behind Evans, and after informing Inspector Bell and sending Jackson and Stephen for help, the governor sat down on the chair and he lit a cigarette. And between that smoking and puffing, he started thinking, my goodness, Ivan is so very clever, so nice escape plan he made. But how come he left the German question paper there? But then we all, as we people had been seeing in the movies and everywhere, that the criminals always leave behind one or the other evidence, so they do commit mistakes. So here the biggest mistake was to leave the question paper behind. And then he said that if the luck really favors, very soon Ivan will be back to the place from where he had escaped. The phone on his desk erupted in a strident burst, and Superintendent Carter informed him that McClary had spotted Evans driving off along Elsfield Way. They had got the number of the car all right and had given chase immediately, but had lost him at the Headington roundabout. He must have doubled back into the city. No, said the governor quietly. No, he is on his way to Newbury. He explained his reasons for believing so and left it at that. It was a police job now, not his. He was just another good for a giggle gullible governor, that was all. And then, while all those thoughts were passing by in his mind, suddenly the phone at the desk, it started ringing. Strident burst means ringing noise. And the other side, it was Superintendent Carter. Remember Carter, no? The Carter who took the injured McClary along with him. And he said that McClary had seen the car in which Evans was driving off, and then he had sent the number, and they have got the number. They ran behind the, means they chased means they went behind the car to catch Evans. But after the Headington roundabout, he disappeared. So he doubts that he might have gone back to the city. Governor said that no, he's not back to the city, he's gone to Newbury. And then he told him why he's telling Newbury. The German paper, it is written Headington roundabout, from there New Graven. So he said so, and he kept the phone down, and he started thinking that, oh, okay, from now here onwards it's police work, not my work. And he was good for a giggle gullible governor, means a kind of a character on which even a child will also laugh. That's all. Right now his condition was like that. Then he said, I said he kept, he didn't keep the phone. Instead of that, he asked him, by the way, Carter, I hope you managed to get McClary to the hospital, all right? he was concerned about that injured McClary. After all, it has happened in his custody, means in his jail. So he said that, Mr. Carter, I hope that you might have got McClary to the hospital. Yes, he is in the Radcliffe now, really groggy. He was when we got the examination officers and they rang for the ambulance from there. The governor rang the Radcliffe a few minutes later and asked for the accident department. McClary, you say? Yes, he's a parson. Then, when he asked Carter about McClary, the injured McClary, and asked him whether you have got him admitted in the hospital, he said that yeah, he's in one of the hospital named as Radcliffe. Actually, he was groggy, means he was shivering and shaking when we reached to the examination office, and the examination people they rang and they called the ambulance from there. The governor immediately he picked up the kept the phone and picked it up again and rang up that hospital, that is Radcliffe Hospital, and there he asked for the accident department number, and there he spoke to the receptionist and he said that whether someone named as McClary has been admitted. Then the receptionist said that who? McClary. Then he said yeah, he's a priest. I don't think there's anyone, the receptionist said. Yes, there is. You'll find one of your ambulances picked him up from Elsfield way about. Oh, that? Yes, we sent an ambulance, all right. But when we got there, the fellow had gone. No one seemed to know where he was. Just vanished. Not a sign. Oh, what is this now? Where the injured fellow might have gone? Carter said that he was so very injured that he could not even walk. He was shivering, and they left him in the examination center with the examination center called the ambulance. But when governor called up in the hospital, they said that there is no such person in the accident department. Then he said that no, your ambulance went to the Elsfield way. Then the receptionist said that yeah, definitely that Elsfield case. We sent the ambulance, but when the ambulance reached over there, no one was in sight. That injured person about whom you are talking, he just vanished, disappeared, and nobody knew where he gone. Not a sign of him. Now you just think what might have happened. But the governor was no longer listening, and the truth seemed to hit him with an almost physical impact somewhere in the back of his neck. A quarter of an hour later, they found the Reverend S. McClary securely bound and gagged in his study in Broad Street. He had been there, he said, since 8:15 a.m. when two men had called and. Okay, inquiries in Newbury throughout the afternoon produced nothing at all, and by tea time, everyone in the prison knew what had happened. It had not been Evans impersonating McClary who had walked out. It had been Evans impersonating McClary who had stayed in. Okay, so here's the story. The governor, when he heard the receptionist saying that there was nobody at the Elsfield, no injured McClary, it was like nothing was going into his ears. He was suddenly hit with the entire scene, the truth of the entire escape plan. And he sat down quietly. After an hour or something, he sent someone to Reverend McClary's flat. You remember that Broad Street one? And they found Reverend McClary there in his own house, tied up with a cloth in his mouth. And when inquired, he said that two men came in the morning around 8:15 a.m. and they did this to him. Means from 8:15 a.m. McClary was in his own house. Then who came for the invigilation? And then whole afternoon police had been going about inquiring in Newbury, every place. No Evans found. And by afternoon, by the evening tea time, everyone knew what had happened. Two McClarys, one who went out with Stephen, one who stayed inside as injured McClary. And you know who was Evans? Till now, what we were thinking? Evans is the one who went out of the jail with Stephen. as McClary. No, no, no. It was not that that Ivan. Ivan was the one who stayed back in the jail as injured McClary, and the inspector, the superintendent Carter, with governor's permission, himself made him to sit down in the vehicle and took him out of the prison. That was actually Evans. Evans stayed back in the jail, impersonating McClary, injured McClary, and then went out of the jail in the police car. That's it. Now, how this plan was made, how it worked out, not possible for Ivan alone to do, that all let us see in the next coming up videos. Till then, goodbye, take care.